The plan of the negative entity was to take the mind-body-spirit complex, while it was separated from its yellow body physical complex shell, to then place this mind-body-spirit complex within the negative portions of our time-space. The shell would then become that of the unknowing, unconscious entity and could be, shall we say, worked upon to cause malfunction, which would end in coma and then in what we call the death of the body. At that point, the higher self of the instrument would have the choice of leaving the mind-body-spirit complex in negative time-space, or of allowing incarnation in space-time of equivalent vibration and polarity distortions. Thus, this entity would become a negatively polarized entity, without the advantage of native negative polarization. It would find a long path to the Creator under these circumstances, although the path would inevitably end well. The Logos creates all densities, both the space-time densities and the accompanying time-space densities. This includes some system of polarized space-time and time-space for fourth, fifth, and to some extent, sixth density work. Thus, each time-space is an analog of a particular sort or vibration of space-time. Time-space is no less homogeneous than space-time. It is as complex and complete a system of illusions, dances, and patterns as is space-time, and has as structured a system of what we may call natural laws. The position in negative time-space is that position which is pre-incarnative. When a negative time-space is entered by an entity, the next experience will be that of the appropriate negative space-time. This is normally done by the form-making body of a mind-body-spirit complex, which places the entity in the proper time-space for incarnation. After the death of the physical complex in yellow ray activation, the mind-body-spirit complex moves to a far different portion of time-space, in which the indigo body will allow much healing and review to take place before any movement is made towards another incarnative experience, in case of wanderers, back to home vibration. A highly polarized positive mind-body-spirit complex, surrounded by negative portions of time-space, will experience only darkness, for like the magnet, there is no, shall we say, likeness. Thus a barrier is automatically formed. The strength of the misplaced wanderer's polarization would be matched as far as possible. In some positive sixth-density wanderers, the approximation would not quite be complete, due to the paucity of negative sixth-density energy fields of the equivalent strength. The higher self could allow the mind-body-spirit complex to remain in time-space. However, it is unlikely that the higher self would do so indefinitely, due to its distortion towards the belief that the function of the mind-body-spirit complex is to experience and learn from other selves, thus experiencing the Creator. The positive entity, which incarnates into negative space-time, will not find it possible to maintain any significant positive polarity, as negativity, when pure, is a type of gravity, well, shall we say, pulling all into it. Thus the entity, while remembering its learned and preferred polarity, must make use of the catalyst given, and recapitulate the lessons of service to self, in order to build up enough polarity, in order to cause the potential to occur for reversal. The path back revolves, firstly, about the higher self's reluctance to enter negative time-space. The higher self is reluctant to allow its mind-body-spirit complex to enter negative time-space for the same basic reason an entity of our societal complex would be reluctant to enter a prison. This may be a significant part of the length of that path. Secondly, when a positively oriented entity incarnates in a thoroughly negative environment, it must teach the lessons of the love of self, thus becoming one with its other selves. When this has been accomplished, the entity may then choose to release the potential difference and change polarities. However, the process of learning the accumulated lessons of love of self may be quite lengthy. Let us say that the positively polarized individual makes a poor student of the love of self, and thus spends much more time, if you will, than those native to that pattern of vibrations. Also, the entity, in learning these lessons may lose much positive orientation during the process, and the choice of reversing polarities may be delayed until the mid-sixth density. All of this is, in our way of measurement, time-consuming, although the end result is well.